So this is the Aquaglide Chinook. It's fairly new. I've had it out on the water 3 or 4 times. I bought the Aquaglide Yamaka, which was $125, and I've decided to hang on to that one. Here's the Yamaka right here. Works pretty well. The seats are adjustable. You can use 1 seat or 2. It's really it's a 10-foot boat.
But I found the Yamaka good enough value, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to be fishing with the Chinook.
You know, when you buy a kayak, you have to figure out, do you want a hard shell kayak or an inflatable? I don't have roof racks on my car. This allows me to fold this up. I fold it in thirds, basically throw it in my trunk, and off I go.
One of the things that I've done is reduce the size of my fishing tackle to keep it more compact. I put some little containers on top of this tackle box so I can just keep flies in there or keep little lures or some hooks that I want to get to and access very quickly. That's working out real well. And then inside I have some salmon eggs and my knife and weights and fishing tackle.
So it's easy to take with me, fits right between my legs when I'm in the kayak, and works real well. Then use the paddle holders. There's one here and one in back. And I put 1-inch PVC along this. This is my fishing bag. And I've just strapped it to the paddle holders. I've done that on both sides. And then it comes up to a 45 degree, which allows me to
paddle
very easily. And I have an adjustable fishing rod holder, so I can put it to the right or to the left, depending on which side I've cast it on or how the wind's pushed me. This is working out real well. I also attached another piece of 1-inch PVC to the 1-inch PVC. I keep an air horn here just for safety. I keep some fingernail cutters here to clip. It's also got a little knife. I just lift this up right here and put this in, and it just slides in like that, stays right like that. Here's just some styrofoam, a piece of styrofoam. I'm going to clip some lures to when I get done with them. Can let them dry off. I've got some reading glasses here, carabiner clip if I want to use it. But this all comes apart, so I basically take off this part here and the part over there, the 45 degree angle, pull that off. I fold the kayak in thirds around this. I typically keep this part on it. The seat is a pretty nice seat actually. I've added 1 extra strap that goes right up on top. I found that this would just bend over a little bit more, so I'm going to try this. I haven't tried that yet. The seat comes with the pouch in the back. I keep my rowing gloves. This is my other extension for the front. If I don't want a 45 degree, this gives me just a 90 degree off each side. I have my fishing license in there, some first aid stuff. But that's a nice little accessory on the seat. They do give you a fishing rod holder, but I don't know how I'd use that. I've taken the other side out. I've kept some sunscreen in there, which works real well. I can reach around and just grab that. And then I have a back case, which I've Velcroed onto the bottom. And I keep some fishing shoes, another fishing pole in there, the skid for the kayak, walkie-talkie. Moving around to the other side, I just have some general clips here in case I want to use those for something. Here's where I keep worms. I put worms in this and just have attached it to this paddle holder. That works out terrific. I can throw it inside on my lap if I want to. And then here I keep a bunch of lures. I've got some scissors in here, but this slips underneath this part, and at some point I'll probably screw this on. But
so this bag contains lures and swim baits that I use, very easily accessible in this pouch.
I just throw it back up like this when I get done, attach it, and I'm pretty much good to go. So this little rig's working out real well. I've had it out twice now fishing. I'll usually set the drag on the reel very light and just troll behind me when I see either the drag going out or the tip of the pole having it at 45 degrees. Typically this way lets me actually see the tip of the pole very easily, so I can see if I've got a fish on or not, and then I'll stop paddling. One of the other things I did, because I used the the paddle holders is I put a little U here. Again, so this is the 1-inch PVC pipe, but it fits perfect on the paddles. So I just take these and I just set them in here and I just clip them in place like that, and it works terrific. I do have a tether on the paddle, which I will take and I'll just clip onto you know, right here, and that way if I drop the paddle it's not going to go anywhere. I'd hate to paddle in with my hands. Got some flies here on one of the D-rings. Again, the fishing net. I keep my net right here, typically have it like this, and I'll take this and I'll just snap it onto a D-ring, and that works out real well. Have plenty of room back here for a cooler, and I could even keep a cooler in front up here, because normally I keep this fishing tackle probably right there. This is a footrest, so I have the room sitting up here for a cooler. But this is working out good so far. The 45-degree angle again lets my knees fit in here with no problem. Lets me paddle very easily on each side. And I'll mention that you can see the distance between this first paddle holder and here. This slides back and forth this way on both sides, so I can adjust the distance from the pole to me reaching it. But if I remember right, I would usually run it right about this area right here, and it worked out well. And at some point I may actually attach onto this D-ring or sew another strap here and then cut this right here just to make it shorter. So I go from this strap to this new strap that I put on if I find out that that works adequate for me. So I wanted to give you an overview of what I've done to this kayak. This is the box it came in. It's a fairly small box. You can kind of see how it would fold up to what size, but again, I fold it in thirds and throw it in the back of my Prius. I've looked at a lot of videos on YouTube and tried to utilize the best ones. I didn't want to have a bunch of stuff hanging out my kayak, and I think I've minimized what I carry for a good fishing day. So this is what I've done to replace the plastic pin. There's a nut right there, and the other side's a bolt. I do keep a piece of wood in there so it doesn't smash that. I can tighten that up tightly, and I'll show you the other side. So this is the other side. There's kind of a little wing nut here. Turn that a little bit so you can see it, but and that lets me tighten the fin in really well, and I don't think I'll be losing it because that's not going to come loose once I tighten it up. So that's one thing that I've done that I've had to do because I lost the pin. One of the other things I've done is I keep a little cushioned seat here that just fits right in here really nicely, and I adjust the air in there so it fits nice. The seat's not bad itself. The back height is pretty good, but this is working out real well. There's a channel right in here, and this channel pushes water to the back so you can let it out the drain plug. The problem here is that this surface here is porous, and it lets water get through this into the main channel, which there are two zippers. This is the footrest right here, but here's one zipper, and if you were to undo the zipper, you'd see the air container, the air pouch underneath here. So the water gets trapped underneath this part. I'll undo this. So here's the plastic airbag for the floor sitting right here. And water drips through this and will sit inside here. And I think that's potentially a long-term problem. When water gets there, you have to tip the boat over and inflate it or stand it up on end to let the water drain out. And the only way the water will really get there is when you're paddling and you splash inside here and it just sits on this surface. This is not blown up right now. But when it sits on the surface, it'll seep through. And you can kind of see there's a little area here where the water will not drift into the side channels too easily. So that's another concern I have. I have put these little rubber cushions on, so when I lay the paddles across, it doesn't scrape the PVC pipe, which I've painted blue. There is a paddle holder here and one in the back, which I showed you before. I usually keep all my fishing gear in this backpack, so I can just backpack it and then grab this with one hand and go down to the lake. Here's the extra bolts and nuts for the skid I have taped to the zipper right here. I have 2 extra ones in there in case I were to ever lose another one. I don't think that'll ever happen, but you never know. But at least I have spares. And then there's still room down here and room up in front. I think they're selling it for $3.99, and I got it on sale for 20% off. So I'm not complaining about this at all. But be aware of water seeping through the floor and getting trapped in that the bottom cavity. And certainly with the skid, watch that plastic pin. So I just returned from another trip fishing with the Chinook kayak, and when I pulled the seat up, I noticed, certainly there was water underneath it, which is normal, so I have the kayak sitting upside down so the water can drain out the bottom cloth cover where you sit. But what I noticed here, which was interesting, is I pulled the seat up and I noticed there was a zipper on the side, which I really hadn't noticed before. And I pulled out these 2 styrofoam seat pads. I have now inserted the yellow pillow that I had used before inside, and I have the styrofoam out. I zipped this up and it contains that very well, and I'm hoping that that will be a really good solution for putting it on top, which will give me more cushion than just the styrofoam seats. So I think this is a nice little benefit, that you can pull the styrofoam seat covers or the seat pads out and insert some type of a air cushion that will be much better to sit on. So I've made one other change to this little part here that holds the fishing pole. What happens is this part became too loose, and it would let the pole slide down at an angle greater than 90 degrees, which might cause the pole to slip out. So what I've done is I tapped a hole right in here for a number 6 screw, and then under that I just put a slot in this part right here, and that allows this piece
to travel 45 degrees in each direction, and you can make that longer by lengthening the slot
you put in here. So I tap a number 6 screw into that, which goes far enough through to travel in that slot, and it allows that to only travel 90 degrees. I'll put it together and show you. So here's the screw. It's not screwed in all the way, but that's what it's going to look like. And then it's going to screw into that slot. So now here's the screw fully inserted, and you can see this only tips that far. It's at the stop right now, and it will tip back this far. It's at the stop right now, and that allows that to tip about 45 degrees each way, which should be fine. If I want to make it farther, I can just make that slot a little bit bigger in either side, and I can tip it 60 degrees each way or whatever I want to. This also holds this piece from slipping out as I turn it, which it didn't have a tendency to do, but at least it's very secure now and will never slip out this way. So that's it, guys. Hope this has helped on an inflatable kayak fishing setup.